Well, welcome to the Wednesday evening Science Insights with Zinzino Zoom. I'm Stephen Cherniske, a research biochemist. I come to Zinzino with about 50 years of experience. I taught clinical nutrition at UCLA and Chapman University, and I ran the nation's first federally licensed clinical laboratory specializing in nutrition and immunology. Natalie?
I'm a medical doctor and graduated from medical school almost 30 years ago. And I board certified in family medicine and anti-aging medicine. My clinical practice involved metabolic medicine, integrative medicine, and of course, hormone balancing. So when we were introduced to Zinzino 16 months ago, it really fit with what we knew about the importance of nutrition. And we were very excited about this preventative, test-based, personalized approach. And we found for ourselves that we were not in the optimal place to be. We were not in the safe zone with our omega-6 to omega-3. And we have really been appreciating not only the community of Zinzino, but these effects that we're having with the products. We are getting better every day. Every person makes 300 billion new cells each day, and we see that in each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things we like to do is we like to present science, published science, and as you all know, hopefully by now, the publication of the latest Zinzino paper we discussed last week, and it's been discussed a lot by other groups over the last week because it's pivotal, it's important. All you need to remember from that study that was published in Lipids and Health and Disease, which is a leading journal in that specialty of science, of biochemistry and health and wellness. The thing that you need to remember is that Zinzino is a company that really puts its money where its mouth is. And that's rare. It's rare that a company in this industry devotes the time, attention, and the massive amount of money that's required to get a study published in a peer-reviewed journal. Roughly $50,000 to get things going through all of the different stages of research and to finally get it into peer review and to respond to the peer review committees and do all the things that you need to do and jump through all the hoops you need to jump through. So this really is, the latest study really does tell us something about the company that we're involved in. And it's something to be proud of, something to talk about. Not that you're going to try to be a biochemist or a doctor and explain all the details. That's not the point. The point is, if you want the details, if you're talking to a health professional and they want all the details, you know you've got two people here that will respond to them, that will answer their questions, that will send them the study and discuss it at any length and level that they want to discuss it in. But you don't have to do that. Now, what Natalie's going to do tonight is to talk about something specific relating to the Zinzino breakthrough here. And I think you're going to really enjoy it.
Yes, if you got my email, you know that I said that we're talking about a love story tonight. And there are different types of research articles. The one that Zinzino published, the Global Variation Study regarding omega-6 to omega-3, that is a research article, a research study. What I'm going to present today is two review articles that look at different studies and bring that information together. And then you may be familiar with opinions. That's another type of article that's out there
Right.
that doesn't quite have the strength of the other two,
No.
but some people need to know that that exists. So, this love story is regarding the olive polyphenols and the EPA and DHA. Um, and these two review articles, improving metabolic health, and of course, focusing on, say the word, my love.
Oleoporin.
Yes, which is one of the polyphenols that we see in our Zinzino products from olives. And so, what we can see in the big picture of these, and if you're a guest tonight and this is your first time hearing about omega-3 fats and polyphenols. This is a relationship between fats that we can get from algae or from fatty fish, and these omega-3s inside the fish are bound to polyphenols, and that has an important relationship for promoting health when we eat it, but also keeping that oil from getting oxidized. And so by having a product like the Zinzino Balance products, we give ourselves these benefits that are much more superior to eating fish because we don't have to worry about the microplastics or pharmaceutical drugs or heavy metals or other chemicals that are in our fish.
Quick review for those of you who are new. Imagine a fish swimming in the ocean. What is that fish eating? The fish is eating plankton, algae, aquatic plants, and each one of those foods is rich in polyphenols, which have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits. Now, so when you eat the fish, you get all those benefits, not just the benefit of the EPA and the DHA, which are fatty acids. You get the polyphenols that the fish was nibbling on, right, for its entire life. But then when you get to the market and you want to sell the fish, you want to sell these benefits and make them available to everyone, you have to purify the fish oil. As Natalie said, it's going to be full of mercury, PCBs, microplastics, agricultural waste, whatever it is, you got to get rid of all of that, right? So when you purify it, as everyone does, because you're not allowed to sell unpurified fish oil unless you're selling it to a cat food company. Right? So everyone strips out the polyphenols along with the toxins and they sell you the fish oil. But is that what the research was about? No, the research was about all these people, these indigenous people that were eating the fish and eating other marine life that was a combination of omega-3 fats and polyphenols. The research was never done on purified fish oil. All that incredibly important research was all done on the whole fish. What Zinzino did was they said, hey, wait a minute, we can do that. We can duplicate that. We can purify the oil, yes, important, and then we'll find the polyphenols that match the polyphenols that those fish were consuming. We'll put them together. We'll patent that process of binding them, and that's what we're going to sell as Zinzino balanced oil.
What the review articles are bringing to us is really important information about this synergistic effect. By having them together, by having those polyphenols wrapped around those omega-3s, there is 3 times more glutathione peroxidase activity, which means our own body's making its own antioxidants works better.
Now, glutathione, excuse me, glutathione is a word that you've heard about, you've read about, and you're probably wondering, what the heck is it? Why is everyone telling me I ought to take a glutathione supplement? The answer is you shouldn't. Right? Glutathione is not part of the diet. Glutathione is produced by your body when needed at the point of need. I'll say it again.
And that's where the best benefits come.
Precisely. So what we're talking about, what Natalie's just talking about here, is that when you combine the omega-3s with the polyphenols, you stimulate the body to produce more glutathione, and that's how you supplement with glutathione, not going to the health food store and buying a bottle that says glutathione. Anyway,
don't waste
editorial.
All right. Lipid, excuse me, so 2 times more plasma antioxidant capacity.
Wow.
Studies have ranged in 50 to 100% reduction in lipid peroxidation, which is a fancy way of saying rancid fats in your body.
Yeah.
And same kind of thing with protein carbonylation, kind of a oxidation,
Yeah.
rancidity of proteins. Urinary 8-isoprostanes, these are markers regarding oxidation, and that is reduced.
And specifically oxidation of, listen to this, DNA. So when you reduce your urinary isoprostanes, you reduce DNA damage. So imagine. All right.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Reduction in common inflammation biomarkers compared to in their individual capacity. So if you have just omega-3 fatty acids and or just polyphenols, they're not as effective. So in other words, what we're saying is 1 + 1 = 7.
Right.
It's a big benefit. They are always better together than alone. And when it comes to metabolic concerns are cellular health concerns. Oxidation and inflammation. We talk about how they are two different sides of the same coin. And here's the really sad part is that oxidation and inflammation lead to metabolic problems when we think about poor blood sugar control, obesity,
Elevated blood lipids.
yep, which is like high cholesterol and those kind of issues. And then that leads into more oxidation and inflammation. It is the bad cycle. When we think about oxidation, we think about something like a rusty bike chain. That is what's going on in our body. And inflammation, when we think about like a reddened pimple or reddened cuticle, imagine that spots of that inside your arteries.
Yikes.
So here's a rusty chain, and you can imagine this that happens on our tissues.
Yes.
And some surgeons can actually see that when they're operating, they'll see that on the tissues. But Zinzino olive oil and the polyphenols, these are high quality products, top tier products, no artificial fertilizers or pesticides. They are picked young for optimal antioxidants, so there's no blackening of the olives. And there's two types of olives that Zinzino has used. The Koroneki olives from Cyprus, and because of the really high polyphenol content that they're able to use in a patented process, uh, the polyphenols in here are up to 30 times as many as your regular extra virgin olive oil from Costco or some other company. And the other one is the Picual olives from Spain, and those are used for regular balance oil and Aqua X, the vegan product, and Tutti Frutti. So when we think about, well, what are the polyphenols in the olives? They're actually on the label of our balance oil. So hydroxytyrosol, tyrosol,
Oleoropin.
oleocanthal, and flavonoids. Again, these are about antioxidants. So,
Good visual.
yeah. So, even if we are a rusty truck that's so rusty that we've lost one of our wheels, thanks AI, um, we can change this rusting process in our bodies by supplementing these potent polyphenols from olives and these potent omega-3s, EPA and DHA.
Nice. Nice graphic.
Thanks.
Nice touch.
All right. So polyphenols and omega-3 fatty acids work together in ways that improve each other's stability and effectiveness. They are friends. They are lovers. Polyphenols protect omega-3s by preventing their oxidation, helping with absorption in the gut, and keeping their bioactivity intact. And so what that means is they take it from the gut to the bloodstream, from the bloodstream into the cell membrane of every tissue, improving the fluidity and the function of those cell membranes. Linked together as lipophenols, they have this increased solubility. So whether they're in a water situation or a fatty situation, they are welcome.
Nice.
Yep. And then that leads, of course, to better cell penetration and greater protection again. We'll talk about that. In other words, the olive polyphenols tell their very important omega-3 clients, EPA and DHA.
I am your security guard, protecting you from damaging forces that try to make you rancid.
I am your guide, showing you the way to get to your very important destination.
I'm your manager, making it possible for you to work longer and perform better.
And the omega-3, EPA, and DHA respond, we've never felt more cared for or cared about. We've always had big dreams of making it to the big time, into the cellular membranes. We try to improve the antioxidant defense, mainly via NRF2 dependent pathway, just like phycocyanins.
Woohoo!
Woo! But our vulnerable double bonds hold us back. With your protection, you make that goal possible. You are friends and heroes. I was really surprised to find out that phycocyanins like phycocy and the EPA and DHA had that kind of pathway
Yeah, yeah.
regarding inflammation and, as we've learned, optimizing muscle health and reducing muscle fatigue. They work together in that pathway. All right. So the olive polyphenols remind the omega-3 that they are both busy. Olive polyphenols help to transform the shift of who lives in the gut. So when they're in the gut, there's some magic happening there as far as the selectivity regard choosing microbiota that are more healthy for us and helping reduce those that are harmful for us. And it turns out who lives in our gut is responsible for our metabolism. So better metabolism means changes in the lipids where we can more easily burn fat, and that's where real energy comes from.
And which answers the question that has often come up on this call, which is, hey, I'm losing weight, and the only thing I've done differently is that I'm now in balance. Is that part of the Zinzino program? And the answer is yes. If you are finding that you're gaining strength and losing weight, it's because this program enables you to turn on your fat burning mechanism. Remember what Natalie said about the cell membrane. The cell membrane is responsible for all the molecular traffic in and out of that cell. So when you think of muscle cells, you think of cells that are really working hard. Whenever you exercise, those cells are working hard. They have to process enormous amount of energy. Well, if you have a disordered cell membrane, you have a blockage of your energy pathway, which is significant and serious. When you then restore balance, and now those cells are functioning at a much higher level because oxygen is flowing in, fuel is flowing in, waste material is flowing out. Now all of a sudden you have more energy, which, listen to this, makes exercise easier and more enjoyable. And that means you'll probably do it. When Natalie was in clinical practice, I never forget one of the questions that she always asked her patients were, Mr. Jones, why don't you exercise? And he would always say, I don't have time. And she would say, what if exercise made you feel terrific? And he would say, oh, well, then I would make the time. So the issue is, isn't it? It's not that you don't have the time. It's just that exercise doesn't feel good. When you are in balance, you'll be surprised at how it changes your energy level and how exercise becomes easier and more enjoyable.
Yeah,
And of course, that means you'll be burning fat.
which is where real energy comes from. All right, lowering biomarkers of oxidation and inflammation. So we talked a little bit already about urinary 8 isoprostanes, and that is a cascade regarding oxidation, which then, of course, is connected to inflammation, that does not go through enzymes. So when we think about the enzymatic pathway, we call that one the cyclooxygenase 1. And this combination of the olive polyphenols and the EPA and DHA reduce inflammation and oxidation in both pathways. So whether you're, oh my God, that was too heavy. I'm so sorry. It works really well at hitting inflammation. All right, blood glucose and feeling full after eating. Hey, I love that this polyphenol, um, Elinoic. Hey, it turns out that it can help make you feel like you've had enough to eat.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
via
ding.
GLP-1.
And there's our friend oleoporin.
Yep. And that one contributes to improved glucose control by affecting the activity of DPP4.
Okay.
There is no quiz. You don't have to remember any of this, but just know that it does good stuff for your metabolism.
That when you're in balance, and this is not something that Natalie's making up, this has been published in the medical literature. When you are in balance with a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 of 3 to 1 or lower, you are your fat cells are basically saying, "Hey, I'm willing to contribute here to the energy needs of the body." Right? Because remember, when the muscles are working, the muscles send a message to the liver. The message is, "Hey, we need energy, liver. Come on, what do you got?" And the liver goes, "Well, hold on. Let me make a call here. I can call fat cells here. Hey, adipose tissue. Yeah, yeah. Well, we got muscles telling me they need more energy. What do you got? Oh, really? Oh, okay." So the fat cells are saying, "No, I'm not giving you any energy. In fact, I'm actually looking for more fat." When you are in imbalance, that message goes from the muscle to the liver, from the liver to the adipose tissue, and that energy goes where? Right to the muscle. To again, I'm going to say it again, which makes exercise easier and more enjoyable. Natalie and I set a record the other day on our hill climb.
Oh
I
my
gotta
gosh, it
say,
was just wonderful. It's just
yeah.
wonderful. Oh my gosh. What a love story. Oh my gosh. It's the kind of love that touches everything.
Yes. What do we have here before
Uh,
we have to wrap up?
David, thank you for your understanding that I struggle to pronounce some of those words.
Well, you did. I can't even begin.
Well, there'll,
Um,
there'll be a quiz next week, David.
Oh no.
uh, you can put my zero down right now.
Thanks for spending some time with us. You have a question?
Yeah, quick question. I've heard that when you lose weight, your fat cells just get smaller. They actually don't go away. But what you're saying is that when you're in balance, those fat cells actually get burned off and they're no longer in the body. Am I hearing that correctly?
Well, there's two things. Number one is fat cells invite more fat cells. So
Right.
you can always add fat cells and you can get rid of fat cells. But most of the change that occurs is in the size and the metabolic activity of those cells. Fat cells, we normally think of them as just sitting there with nothing to do. Oh, there's always something to do for those fat cells. When you're in balance, they're an energy source. When you're out of balance, they're basically just a source of inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're in balance and you're burning those fat cells, they're actually going away,
Yep.
not just getting smaller. Or
And
they're
when you say
both.
when you say going away, they're not evaporating, David. They're literally donating their contents to the liver, and the liver is converting those contents into energy that the muscles can use.
Got it.
And
Okay.
it,
Thank you very much.
Yes. And then there's also apoptosis where they just literally get gobbled up by the immune system.
Okay. Thank you so much.
you're
Welcome.
welcome. Good question.
We love talking to other healthcare professionals.
And healthcare professionals love that we test and don't guess. Really
Right.
find out where the person's at, really personalize the situation.
Steve and
Okay.
Natalie, I'm interested to know about the 300 billion new cells the body creates daily. Could you identify how, the cells, what types they are?
Sure. It's a great question because different tissues turn over at different rates. So it's not like, you're turning over the cells of your brain at the same time as you're turning over the cells of your gut. The gut lining, for example, is continually being replaced.
It
And so,
replaces itself in 3 days.
yeah, so a lot of those 300 billion cells are gut cells. A lot of those are immune cells. If you have an infection, for example, if it's a serious infection, you're losing billions of cells right there on a daily basis. And so, but even without an infection, the turnover rate of cells, again, it varies. There's some areas of your body, like your collagen, for example, where the turnover rate is so slow that when you have a serious connective tissue injury, Natalie recommends surgery. Why? Because you're not going to replace those cells if it's a connective tissue injury where there's a tear and it's a collagen tissue. But in most cases, your immune system, the lining of your gut, Muscle cells are turning over, and not rapidly. Some muscle cells, like for example, the heart muscle, very, very slowly turning over, but they are turning over.
Skin is
Skin,
fast.
skin, very rapid. Hundreds of billions of cells on a daily basis being replaced and working their way up from the basement membrane to the surface, where they literally perish.
So
And so,
So in what we've seen for ourselves, I just 2 months after being on the products, I noticed my skin was clearer, better moisture, healthier hair. My nails are harder. I can use them kind of like screwdrivers now. It's nice. Um, and then, of course, my gut was getting better, and I could eat foods without having abdominal pain, including gluten and dairy. And then my brain was changing just after 2 months. I could start understanding those Zumba steps better. Work got easier, interpersonal relationships easier, because cognition is everything. And I can honestly say for both of us, now having been on the products for over a year, we are happier, we are less anxious, and life is just better. Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Mike. All right. Great questions. We love you. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye for now.
You too. God bless.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.